of their collaborative efforts leading to a more intelligent decision, it often leads to a worse decision. So you might think, how could that be if you've got all of these people collaborating together? What about the old saying, two heads are better than one? Well, apparently they neglected to mention the basic premise of groupthink, because when you gather a group of people to make one decision, you're often going to get a worse decision than if you had just made that decision all by yourself. The phenomena about groupthink is when people are in a group, they're more concerned about how they appear to others in the group rather than the actual effectiveness of the decision itself. Because so long as you're in a group environment where the group gets to make the decision, you'll almost always be pressured into going with the group decision, even if it's a poor decision, which it often is. And when a group is responsible for making the final decision, any dissent and any non-conformity will immediately be viewed as a disruption or disloyalty to the group. And groupthink doesn't just happen in the office. It happens in our everyday lives, in our relationships, with our friends, with our families. So long as there are, quote unquote, a group of people involved, you can expect groupthink to overwhelm people's opinions and judgments. This is why I've always hated being the lone guy in a group of, say, 5 female coworkers. And if you've ever been in this situation, then you'll know what I'm talking about, where you're the lone guy and you're out grabbing a drink with, say, 5 of your female coworkers. They will tend to gang up on you whenever you say something that doesn't fall in line with how mainstream society has been socially programmed to think. So because they're in a group atmosphere, they will often have the courage to try and dominate you because it's 5 of them and it's only 1 of you. And even if 1 or 2 of them actually agree with you and actually agree with what you're saying, they will never admit to it, not while they're under that group setting where their reputations are at stake. They might come to you later one-on-one and tell you in private, like, hey, I agreed with you back there and I just wanted to tell you that, I do agree with you. They might say that in private, but they will never actually tell you that under the group setting where they would otherwise be shunned for going against the group. Now, when I'm out gaming 5 girls and pulling them into groupthink purposely, that's an entirely different story, because there are times where you can actually make groupthink work in your favor, especially when you're out gaming. Because say you're out gaming 5 attractive women, and 3 of them are totally down to leave with you, but the other 2 are not. Well, you can often use groupthink to overpower the 2 by making them feel like outcasts, by making them feel like they're spoiling everyone's fun. And many times they will just go along with the group because they don't want to feel left out. And many times if you are gaming 3 or more girls, there will usually be at least 1 girl who doesn't want to go along with your plans. But again, if the group wants to go, so long as you can convince the majority, they can often convince her too. And she'll simply go along with the group decision in fear of disappointing the group, even though individually it may not be where she actually wants to go. So there are times where you can make groupthink actually work in your favor. So understand, groupthink happens on all levels, and it happens to both men and women. It happens in our workplaces, in our jobs, in our families, and with our friends. And it's always driven by a need to conform, a need to not displease others. And the only way to escape groupthink is by expecting to displease others and not allowing yourself to stray from your own individuality and your own ideas. Because at the end of the day, no one is going to care about what happens to you in life more than you care about what happens to you in life. So don't let a group of people persuade you from doing what you know is best for you, because you have to understand everyone is looking out for their own interests, their own ideas. And when they're in a group, a lot of people tend to adopt what I call a wolfpack mentality, where they try and intimidate anyone who is not following the ideas of the group. And like I mentioned, I'm originally from San Francisco. I grew up right next to the hate during the 70s. So as much as people like to think San Francisco is this free, express yourself type of environment, it's actually quite the opposite, at least when you want to stay true to yourself and go your own way. If you're not willing to adopt the same mindset as everyone else in San Francisco, you will be made to feel like an outcast. It's a very shut up and get in line sort of mentality, and it's very disturbing. And I've seen this not only in San Francisco, but many places like it, where if you don't go along with what everyone else is going along with, you will be singled out. People will get hostile. People will get angry. People will get passive aggressive. Like, how dare you go against the group? You must be this kind of person, or you must be that kind of person. And they'll throw out all sorts of judgments and opinions about you that are really a reflection of themselves and deep inner fears that they have within themselves. So it often has nothing to do with you. But this is simply a part of disengaging yourself from groupthink. You have to expect that when you go your own way in life, when you follow your own gut instincts in life, which are often your correct instincts, people will always try to pull you right back into groupthink, mostly for their own selfish reasons, because they don't want to feel alone, or because they don't want to have to question their own beliefs. So, like I said, it has very little to do with